Hello everyone, Shinto Bean here playing some more Warhammer combat cards. I'm looking at the clan menu and they have just released a PvP mode that you can do within your clans. You can play friendly battles with just people in the same clan. You will not earn any rewards for these, but this is a first look at how PvP works. So you make a deck specific to this PvP mode, and then you can just request that one of your clanmates can challenge you in a battle. There's just a 1 minute timer, and obviously the other person has to be online and looking at the the clan menu to accept the challenge. But it looks like someone just accepted my request. This is the first time I've tried it, so I don't really know how it's going to work exactly. Okay, so it looks like we are playing against Commander Farsight, and I guess we are deploying first. I'll just put down my Psyker dude, and okay, so now the opponent is deploying, and so you can see the 3 cards up there to indicate that they are choosing the card, and they're choosing to deploy that guy with taunt in the middle. I'm just going to deploy my Psykers here, kind of willy-nilly. And they get buffed through Grandmaster Voltus. I've been playing a bit of Grandmaster Voltus lately, and he is quite strong, actually. A little bit stronger than I remember him being. We'll see how they do against Tau. This is probably a pretty high-level player. A lot of the people in my clan are quite high level, so we'll just put down that Grey Knight over there. Let's see what level these guys are at. Level 11. Wow, this is huge. Yeah, so I have a feeling I'm about to get destroyed here. Yeah, they have the level 2 traits unlocked for all their cards, so even though Tau don't... Whoa, okay, there's Long Strike. Yeah, so level 5 Long Strike. This is going to be pretty nasty. But I don't know if this is actually going to play out too much differently than if you were playing against an AI. But normally I would not face a deck of this magnitude in ranked mode because I just don't get that high in ranked. So it's a chance to see what some of the higher tier players have, potentially. Now you don't really get to choose who to play against exactly unless you coordinate beforehand. So here they're just blasting away my legendary guy in one hit from Far Strike, or not Far Strike, the Long Strike, getting their names mixed up here. Yeah, Long Strike. I do not have this guy, but yeah, very powerful tank. And I think we're gonna want to put Tigurius across from him. He has the double shield, so at least he'll be able to block 2 of those massive attacks from Long Strike. Although he's just gonna simply shift that out of the way. Normally the AI would not be able to do that. They just deploy whatever is open in the open space, but now, since we're playing against humans, they are smarter than the AI, and they're also able to shift their units around. That's one of the big differences, I think, in PvP compared to playing against the AI, so we'll probably see him move that Long Strike over, I imagine over to the right lane, and sure enough, there he goes, putting a Grav drone down, which outflanks, reducing my next attack, and he's shifting that one over to deploy the broadside battlesuit to the center. So definitely a lot different than what an AI would do, and it makes it a lot harder actually, I think, to use these shields effectively, since your opponent can just simply move the unit out of the way. So once again we'll move Tigurius, I think, over, but yeah, there's no way I'm going to win this. Not even close. We'll put down this, I'm forgetting the names of all my cards. The Cyberwolf over on the left. And we'll be able to blast away with Psychic for 1 turn, but yeah, it's nowhere even close to dealing enough damage to take down that gunship, so it's going to be pretty painful. I'd be surprised if they went anything other than ranged. I have almost no ranged in this deck whatsoever, and the debuff to the melee actually hurts as well, because that's another thing that I could potentially do at the end with Voldus. Normally you can charge up a pretty strong melee attack, but they are preventing me from doing that with those drones and whatnot. Tigurius was still able to block the damage from Long Strike due to the positioning there. So he dealt a decent amount of damage. I'm curious as to what the last two bodyguards they have are, but we're going to find out soon enough. The Librarian is taking down the broadside of Battlesuit. Long Strike very low on health now. And he doesn't quite have enough damage, I don't think, to take out Tigurius, except for the, I think now he does, because that double scout is going to buff the ranged. Wow, that is a massive increase to the damage. That's like almost 50 more damage there. So yeah, this was not even close. We'll put down the Warlord and finish off the game. Now, one thing that you might notice, there's a little thing on the side with like 3 strikes. So there is a strike system. That was one of the things that I was worried about with PvP, is if you get matched up against players who just go AFK, then what happens? Well, in this, I believe you have about, it's a pretty long time, like maybe over a minute to take your turn, but I think in the future they will reduce that significantly so that you can you just have less time to take your turn. So I'm just continuing to go Psychic here, but I am going to get destroyed the next turn. So yeah, if you fail to take your turn within the time limit, then you'll get a strike, and your turn will end. No redding, no attacks, no nothing. And if that happens 3 times, then you just lose the game outright. So here I got dominated pretty easily by this superior player, clanmate of mine. But that was pretty interesting to see how the PvP works. So the other thing about PvP, though, that I'm thinking, like, you know, because it sounds like they want to actually make it into a major game mode. Right now, it's just within the clans that are just testing it out, kind of. But if it does become more prominent in other game modes, then I'm just wondering how that'll work out, because as of now, you can, you know, the AI does things in a predictable way, so you're able to take advantage of that. It makes it easier to beat it, even if you're facing a superior deck. However, in this case, even if you're facing a deck of the same level, the odds of winning are much lower, because, you know, the other player can make, you know, strategic plays that the AI normally wouldn't be able to. So if PvP becomes a thing in ranked mode, I'm just wondering how, you know, if you're not able to win as much, if people would still enjoy the game, you know. Because, you know, I like winning. People like winning, I think. So I might try to accept this battle here with another player, just to see how this works out if someone else doesn't accept it before me. So I just clicked accept, and the screen goes black, but I think that indicates that the game is starting. Okay, so here we go. This is a different player. Again, someone in the same clan. And I've got the initiative. We're playing against Chaos. And this is also a very high level deck, so I imagine I will lose, but we'll do the best that we can. Put down Tigurius first this time. And one of the downsides is, it might not be an issue in the big clans, but you can't actually see who is online in your clan, so if you're in like different time zones, it could potentially be kind of hard to coordinate these PvP battles. Although it's not too big of an issue, because you don't actually gain anything, so there's not a whole lot of incentive to play the PvP battles except to just experience it, for the first time. Although, I think they did mention, the developers, that there would be some sort of mission specific to PvP. And I'm just thinking what to do here. So, Tigurius is getting his damage reduced very greatly by this raptor. And if it was an AI, I would try to move him out of the other lane, but the opponent can just do the same thing. Have the raptor follow my strongest psyker around, so it's not really going to do anything. And he also put down a berserker across from my librarian who has warp surge. So actually, deploying first is a pretty significant disadvantage in PvP, because your opponent can just counter whatever you have on the field. Against the AI, it's not as big of an issue, because the AI tends to deploy their weaker units at the beginning and stronger units towards the end of the game. But that is another big thing about PvP. It may, and if they just keep it that way, then, like, if they don't change the way that initiative and the turn order works, then I feel like there's not nearly as much incentive to build a really fast, high initiative deck. Although, I don't know, taking the first turn is nice, especially in this case when I have a bunch of psychers on the field. They have no psychers to counterattack with. It still gives me an advantage to go first, but not as big of an advantage as you would get when playing against the AI. So let's see what they deploy next. Okay, here's a really huge, powerful, legendary Bodyguard Celeste at level 5. That is ridiculous. It can deal just an absurd amount of damage with every attack type, and has Inspiring Presence, buffing the damage of all of their bodyguards on the field. And they also have this guy, Lucius the Eternal, who is at level 6, so when he dies, he will come back to life with a significant amount of his health. I believe he has the trait at level 2, so let's see how much health he comes back. My Warp Surge is able to take him down with that initial thing, but he still has 98 health left, so that's quite a bit. And Celeste is going to respond with the Psychic counterattack, destroying my Stormcaller dude, or whatever he is. He dies. And I think we'll just put this Space Wolf dude down. I probably should have moved Tigurius back over to the center lane, but either way, I'm going to be taking a lot of damage, and I don't think I'm going to be winning this. Not against a level 9 Gloggerthrox, that's for sure. So yeah, like I said, there are a lot of powerful people in this clan that I'm in. In fact, I'm probably one of the lower ranking players. So, yeah, I don't imagine I'll be able to win against many of these guys. But it is interesting to see what kind of decks they are running. And it's kind of a nice learning experience. And actually, we are able to get the Warlord on the field. Let's see how much damage he can do. So 56, yeah, I mean, that's not really so great. We'll just put down our Warlord. Try to get some damage in against the enemy Warlord and see how this works out. Obviously their Warlord is going to deploy in the center lane. Let's see what that last bodyguard is. And wow, Celeste going over to the left side, and they got Karn the Betrayer deploying to the right. He is at level 7, already at 109 melee damage. That's pretty insane. Every time Gloggerthrox attacks, we'll get to see that beautiful animation, hopefully. Yep. Which heals all of their units by 12 HP when the Warlord attacks, right there. Really like that animation, and I hope they continue adding more of these animations. Alright, and we've got just one more tiny little bodyguard left. And I think it doesn't matter where I put it. We'll just put it over here. But yeah, the Cyberwolf. So I did have a little bit of a melee attack charged up, but not that it really matters because my damage is getting reduced by 40%. There's really no way I can win no matter what I do, so we're just going to go with the melee and end this game. So, yep. That is pretty interesting. I haven't actually seen Gloggothrox in ranked mode for as long as I can remember. He's not a very popular warlord, but clearly he can be quite strong at the higher levels when paired up with the right bodyguards. So yeah, you can see right there the battle result shows up with me taking that loss there. So yeah, there's a little record, and you can just talk about it afterwards. And I'm not sure, it might be that you can't play 2 games in a row with the same person. I'm assuming that 2 more matches can be done consecutively. Not sure about that. I'm assuming, yeah, any number of matches can be going on. So you could have these battle results filling up the clan chat really quickly if your clan is full. But yeah, it'd be interesting to try some of the other warlords like Canoness Viridian, who is generally very strong. It'd be interesting to see how she works in PvP, because you're better able to move your units around in response. And let me just type a message here. Thanks for the games. And yeah, I can't type and talk at the same time, clearly. GG, we'll just go with that. Yeah. So anyway, that's the first look at PvP, and I had some trouble talking here, but I think I'm going to upload this anyway, just so you can see what PvP looks like here in the within the clans. So, yep. Let me know what you think about this PvP mode. If you think that it will make the game if you think it will improve the game, or if there are any things that you're worried about concerning PvP. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.